Well, good afternoon folks, and welcome to the first of this week's video reviews. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again. Where are we? We are in Australia. We're in the state of Victoria, and this is Bendigo Airport in Victoria, Australia, Yankee Bravo Delta Golf. This is the new payware scenery from Impulse Simulations. They've actually brought out a few sceneries that you can see on Simmarket at the moment. This one, version 1.0.2 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Not yet available for 2024, so yeah, there you go. Download comes in at 1.46 gig and it installs at 2.59 gigs, just under 3 gigs. It's currently available from Impulse's own website, also from Simmarket and from Flightsim.To, depending on where you like to get your sceneries. I'll give you the Impulse Simulations price because it's the best one I can find at the moment. So for Impulse Simulations you can get it for $21.95 Australian dollars, which equates to roughly €12.49 or $14.10 US or £10.57 UK. The Euro, US and UK prices are all estimates and conversions taken from the Australian dollar, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. One thing to mention from Impulse, I think certainly they have the cheapest price. It's way better than Simmarket. However, the download is really slow. I did manage to get it, but be prepared for a rather slow response from the site. But if you're prepared to just be patient, I think they have the best price at the moment. This is a nice little scenery. We're in the heart of gold country, gold mining country here in southwest Australia. And to be honest, having looked over the scenery, it's great. It's very, very nice and an interesting area. And yeah, flights are featured come in from Sydney. Qantaslink operates into here and out of here from Sydney, and we'll go into that a bit more later on. Okay, let's have a look at the features available in this product. Okay, features. So we have full PVR texturing, a 20 centimeter aerial coverage provided by MetroMap, also known as Aerometrics. Over 100 custom assets, detailed taxiway and ground markings, 15,000 plus hand-placed objects, so this is pretty intensive. Accurate terminal model and interior, realistic night lighting, interactive hangars. The HEMS and Bendigo aviation services will open and close based on the user distance. Corrected vegetation for airport and surroundings. You've got custom points of interest as well. Bendigo Base Hospital, along with the helipad, Central Deborah Gold Mine, Sacred Heart Cathedral, which includes the correct night lighting for it, the Great Stupa of Universal Compassion, which I believe is probably a church, custom height data 5 meter, custom fuel points, custom airport services, runway guard lights and other custom animations. So this is pretty intensive. There's an awful lot of work that would appear to have gone into this. But it's nice to look at something new by a developer I haven't seen before, and perhaps get down to this little product and have a look at how good it is. So we're also going to be featuring a livery, and today I managed to get the Flightsim Studios E-Jet, the E195, and the livery we're looking at is the Qantaslink livery, which is a jet. This jet serves this airport from Sydney, and the livery is by JordxnE. And again, I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested in the livery, if you own the E-Jet. So okay, so let's have a look at that livery close up. Okay, so here she is, the E-Jet, the E195 version, painted in the colours of Qantaslink. Now, those of you who own this product will know that Flightsim Studio include a number of liveries already as default whenever you buy this product, Qantaslink among them, but I wanted to feature this particular livery by an up-and-coming developer, and to be honest, that's what this is all about. My attempt to just showcase some liveries and get some of the repainters a little bit of publicity, because their work is pretty impressive. So this is the Flightsim Studios E-Jet E195 aircraft in the livery of Qantaslink. and it's painted by JordxA or JordxnE. Never quite get my head around why these people have these weird names. But again, like I said, I'll put the details I'll put the link to the livery in the description below. So let's have a closer look at this aircraft. So this is the FSIM Studios E-Jet. I only purchased it the other day because I needed something like this for short haul flights, and it's going to be fun to learn how to use it. So here we are parked up there. You can see you've got pitot covers on the pitot tubes at the front there. There's also a slight amount of dirt as well. This is really nicely repainted. You've got partial windows there. The exterior paint is really good. Everything, even the top of the wings there. And some lovely detail here on the tail, including the angle of attack of the elevators there. So here you can see partially open window blinds, and again you can see almost every single rivet as well as the exit doors. Really impressive. And once again, the whole sort of starboard side of the aircraft has been nicely detailed here. So going right past the tail. Yeah, some really nice modelling. So we pass down the port side, no different from the other side really. A really high standard of paint. Very, very nice. Okay, so let's go inside the cabin. I haven't quite figured out yet how to open the doors. I've got ground power running, but let's pop inside. Okay, so I can't see any way to open the door, but I guess I'll work that out at some point. So there we are, looking forward into the flight deck. And the starboard R1 door and the galley, the forward food storage area. So looking back down the cabin, you can see we've got two areas. We've got economy and we've got business class, which all looks pretty good. So as we move back and looking from the rear, you can see interior looks great. To be honest, I'm not a developer or a painter, so I don't know how much of the interior a painter can work on or change, or model for that matter. So it's difficult for me to assume whether the painter's done all this interior or whether it's been included by the developer of the model. But interior looks good. So as we continue towards the rear, you've got the rear galley area here. And you've got the exit, and I would assume there's a toilet. Yes, indeed, there it is. So yeah, it all looks pretty good, pretty impressive. So there you are, folks, today's featured livery, the Flightsim Studios E-Jet, the E195 version, painted in the colours of Qantaslink by a person known as JordxnE. And again, I'll put the link in the description below if it's something you're interested in. Okay, so that was the featured livery. Now let's look at some history. So history: Bendigo Airport, Yankee Bravo Delta Golf, is a public use regional airport owned and operated by the city of Greater Bendigo and located in East Bendigo, around 3.1 miles or 5 kilometres northeast of Bendigo in the state of Victoria in southwest Australia. The airport handles Qantaslink flights to Sydney and is a base for the Ambulance Victoria's HE or H Emergency Medical System 3 helicopter. In 2017, Bendigo Airport was upgraded with a new 1 mile or 1.6 kilometre north-south runway, new taxiway system, new lighting and signage. In December 2019, Qantaslink announced it would operate regular passenger transport flights to Sydney, with flights commencing in March 2019. The flights operated for 12 months before being suspended in March 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. Flights resumed in December 2020. In 2022, construction on a new terminal building commenced, with works to deliver a new larger building with a check-in foyer, cafe, departure gates and provision for security screening. The first stage of the new terminal development opened in June 2023, with the old building being demolished shortly afterwards. The completed airport terminal located on the western side of the airport opened in 2024, in April that year. Bendigo Airport hosts over 40 private hangars for small aircraft located to the north of the terminal. So there you are, a bit of a short history for you. I mean, this airport serves the gold mining community, amongst other things, and has had some recent development for you. Okay, so now let's have a look at the two runways that we have here. Okay, runways. I've lowered the lighting. It's 5:15 in the afternoon. It's the 12th of May 2025. That's the date of this video. So as you can see, we're sort of coming to the end of their summer and approaching their sort of winter, as it were. So Bendigo Airport operates two runways. The longest that we're looking at now, runway 1735, measures 5,249 feet or 1,600 meters and is made from asphalt. The shorter runway 0523 measures just 2,516 feet or 767 meters and is made partially from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 710 feet or 216 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 10 hours time zone. Now, the state of Victoria does indeed observe daylight saving time, or DST, but since the airport is now located in the southern hemisphere, their daylight saving time ended in April this year, and with the UK now 1 hour ahead of GMT UTC on British summertime, Bendigo Airport is currently 9 hours ahead of the UK. Okay, so runways 1735, both ends of this runway feature runway lighting, which is pilot controlled. You activate on 119.3. I believe that's for the real world, because as you can see, we've got runway lighting already on. So that's presumably what happens in the real world. You also have precision approach path indicators on the left side. And there you can see, just as it's supposed to be, you've got the runway lighting, which actually looks to be high intensity, to be honest. But again, I'm not a developer, so I don't know how much you can actually change in a scenery product to emulate the real world. But it's good enough. And you've got the pappies on the left, so this is all correct. So the approaches for both this end and the other end, we'll look at it in a minute. You have RNP approach options for both ends of this runway. Let's have a quick look at the other end, runway 35. So here we are at the other end of the main runway, runway 35, and looking north, and you can see this runway at both ends has the turning area for you to enter the runway, turn and backtrack and turn. Runway 35, as I said, it's the same as 17. You have the runway lighting, which in the real world is pilot controlled, and the precision approach path indicators again on the left side, and once again it's all as per the charts. So both ends of this runway feature RNP approach options only. There's no instrument landing system or anything else. So let's have a brief look at runway 0523. So here we are looking down the slope of runway 2305. Okay, there's no lighting, it's visual use only, and according to the chart it's partially grass. So maybe that's at the other end, we'll have another look. But as you can see, there's no lighting on this runway. So it's visual sort of daytime use only, really, or before the sunset and after sunrise. Let's have a look at the other end. So here we are looking at the other end, runway 05, and as you can see, it is partially grass. You've got this area here which you can land on, presumably for very light aircraft, and then you have the tarmac area. It's really weird. The main runway 1735 actually looks much longer than it's supposed to be. I might be wrong, that just might be an illusion. This one though, 0523, looks about right, and also is obviously a little bit longer here. You've got the grass area, so really refreshing to see that the runway system here, with all its quirks, is completely accurately modelled. You've got the pappies, you've got the runway itself properly modelled, and even the grass area that's mentioned on the charts. So yeah, I mean, that's great. It's really nice to see that. So that was runways for you. Notice there you've also got the helipad by the hospital heli centre. So no jet weight on this airport, of course. So let's get down to the product properly, bring it back to daytime and have a look and see what we've got here. Okay, welcome back. It's just after midday and we'll start the tour. One of the things that struck me about this scenery is the terrain and the location and how it all sits. It's typical Australia, and the modelling, I mean, this is Flightsim 2020. We haven't yet reached the heights of Flightsim 2024 in this for my videos yet, but even here it looks pretty impressive. You've got the road here that goes around the airport. There's the fence line. So let's start a tour. We're going north to south across the terrain, and you can see the terrain modelling looks great. The actual ground itself looks pretty impressive. You've got the runway and everything sits. It looks pretty real. It looks very, very true to life. I mean, you could also almost say that this might be Flightsim 2024. It just looks pretty good. And you've got this sort of pond area here as well. It just looks really impressive. Now, one of the things about the scenery, as we talked about in the description, you've got all these hangars available for private aircraft. There's over 40 of them in the airport itself. So now we start to come to the main airside ramp, which looks pretty impressive, to tell you the truth. I mean, the airside looks great. There you've got this, what looks like this little restaurant. You've got animated flags as well, and the detail looks really good. I'm wondering if they've got people. I can't see any, but airside looks really, really quite nice. Then you've got hangars like this, you know, it's really, really good. There's the HEMS hangar, which I believe is the emergency helicopter medical, and here's one of them out on the pad. Right, you've got two helicopters. One looks like a private one, and one looks like one of the ambulances. But as you can see, we've got a really high standard of modelling here. Right, I'm not sure if that's maybe just a private helicopter. But it all looks pretty impressive out here. So here you've got the top of the road entrance that comes into the airport. And even this looks pretty good. So you've got cars coming down the road. And here we've got the airport entrance road coming down here. Fence line to the right. I like the way it looks, you know, you feel like you might even be really there. It looks very realistic. It's hard to see whether some of it is due to the product modelling or whether some of it is due to the default terrain. But as you can see, it all looks pretty impressive, really. So this road goes into the Hems hangar, and you go further down the road there, which to connect with the road to the left there that takes you in towards the airport itself. It's really nice. There's something about it. It's hard to put into words. At the moment, it seems to just lack people. Yeah, that's it. It's just the lack of people really hanging around that is the only real thing that's missing from here. But it's very nice. So here we come across the main ramp. Let's explore some of these buildings. Air conditioning units there that are working. So interior modelling, it's very nice, very nicely done. It's just great, it really is good. You got the food machine, and there's the entrance or the exit door. At the moment it's closed off, and there's a look back in the other direction. So this is the landside entrance, and there you've got check-in for the Qantas flight that goes to Sydney. So here's the view landside of that building. That's the entrance that takes you in there. And just a couple of shots out here. So here's the Flying Club building, complete with the animated flag. Don't believe this is done inside, but we'll have a look anyway. Right, okay, so no internal development on this building. But you have this nice little seating area. Obviously, as I said, this is a flying club, and you've got this little seating area by the airside fence. You can notice the solar panels there on the roof as we pass over to landside. It's great, it's lovely. And there's the view landside of the flying club. And here we have the aviation services building. Again, this looks like a building, you know, it doesn't appear to be any internal modelling at all, but it's all nicely weathered and textured, looks great, all the signs are clear. Car models are pretty good. It's just a lovely little airport. And here you have the fuel station. And notice the ground markings are really good as well. and there's lighting inside the pumps. You've got AVGAS and Jet A1 depending on which aircraft you're in. And here you've got some low resolution parallaxing on the windows, which looks pretty good actually, providing you don't get too close. And as you can see, loads of hangars. The roads look really good, I have to say. The concrete modelling on the roads look pretty impressive. And this tarmacking looks pretty real. It's all weathered and worn in various places, and it just fits with the scenery. So as we pass from landside back to airside, I hope you're getting a good sort of feeling for this product. I think it's quite nice. It's a pity that there are no people. It's the one thing this scenery is crying out for is people. They've internally modelled one building really well, and there really should be some people in there. But other than that, it's brilliant. So as you can see, the ground markings are really excellent. Here we've got runway guard lights, or WIGWAGS as we call them in the UK. And you've got white windsock on the other side there. So here you've got the entry signs to runway 1735. Taxiway sign is there on plinths to show you the exit off the runway. Blue airfield edge lights. And there's a definite slope in this runway too. But as you can see, I mean, it all looks pretty impressive. It's very nice. It just sits really well and it just looks real. It's just, it needs people. Other than that, it's a lovely little product. Okay, so here's the daytime view from the flight deck. Here we are in the E-Jet, the E195 Qantaslink aircraft. The aircraft is powered up on the ground power unit, and this is the view from the cockpit. There's the captain's window. And looking across through the first officer's window. And there's a high-level shot showing you the airport in its entirety even. Remember, there's one or two things off airport to be explored, but for this review we're sort of concentrating on the airport. So that was the daytime. Let's bring it to dusk now. Okay, it's 5:25 in the evening. Remember, we're in the southern hemisphere, where it's coming to the sort of end of their summer. So it's going into their winter now, so the light drops a lot earlier than it does in the UK. And this is the scene. Some lovely, really nice lighting here, very subtle stuff. Nice to see the heliport marked out, and some nice various lighting bits and pieces here and there that look pretty good. So we do a short airside tour starting from this end. There's the helipad all nicely lit. The downlighting here is really good, I like it. And the hangar all lit up inside as well. So coming across airside to the main ramp. Once again, some nice subtle lighting, nothing's overdone, the correct light sources as well. And there you get to see some of the odd bits of downlighting on some of the other hangars. And some of the parallaxing too. So we cross back landside, we'll have a look at what's going on here. So as we pass LANDSIDE of the terminal building, some interesting light as well. And you can see inside the building. And you've got this here is the other hangar that we looked at. What we'll do is we'll go in through the windows. But look at those girders. Love the way that's modelled. Very nice. So we pass over the helicopter base. Again, some nice subtle lighting, no globes floating around. Everything is produced from the correct source, which is good. And I love the telephone wires or the power lines, whichever they are. And as you can see, the place has character. And even a lit car park. And as we pass back to airside, you can see the ramp lighting is pretty good as well, and you've got a lighted windsock. And in the distance there you can see the runway entrance signs all lit up, and the WIGWAGS as well. Very nice indeed. And once again, a view from the flight deck during dusk. It's all pretty nice. It really does look pretty impressive. Captain's side view. And looking out across the airport through the first officer's window. So just a couple of quick shots close up on the ramp. As you can see, we spawned from the menu. We're not quite on the mark. We're close, but we're not quite. And you can see here the tail is a little bit out over the clearance line. I think it would be okay if we actually got on the proper mark. But all in all, it's really nice. It looks very, very good at dusk. But you can see that the night is really sort of coming on to us pretty quickly. So what we'll do is we'll take an overhead shot from another angle at dusk, and then we'll go to night time. Okay, so here we are looking overhead at the airport from a high level, and the darkness is beginning to come upon us, so let's hit the night time now. Okay, it's 10 PM local time. The night is upon us, but it's actually a lovely view, isn't it? The ramp lighting's really good. It's come up a little bit. But yeah, you're not going to have much in the way of any problems really finding your way around. You'll need your nose gear light, but it does look pretty good. So just a quick look at the sign out here. This is the long park sign that takes you along to the parking area for the general aviation, all of these other hangars out here. And a quick look in the darkness at some of these hangars. I mean, they're beautifully lit, very, very nicely lit. So just a quick nighttime pass over the airside ramp for you to see what's going on and what it's like. I just think this is a lovely scenery. You know, okay, it's not mega, but I think it's really nice. Nice view inside the terminal there. And there you've got the hangar. And the helicopter base with the pad nicely lit with green lights there. And you've got the odd globe out there to the road that sort of lights up the road, which to be honest I'm not really complaining about. Sometimes they look pretty impressive, sometimes they don't. but it seems almost like where they are, you could attach a post to them and you've got a street lamp. And even right out here by the entrance you've got some lighting as well, and the sign is lit, which is great. So there you go, that was a brief tour at night time. Let's have a look at dawn now. Okay, 7:25 in the morning, and the dawn has come up and you can see the glow on the buildings. And this airport really does look like a typical Australian airport, especially at this time of the day. And the colours are good, and the airport looks nice. It's very, very nice. And we're looking down to the end of the runway there, and in the other direction. So just a couple of close-up shots of the ramp at dawn for you. It's very nice. I really like it. There's just an atmosphere about it that it's difficult to describe. It is just nice. There's the car park, all the cars in their slots, and landside of the terminal. And there's the sun rising in the east, and you've got the flying club here. Okay, 8:20 in the morning, pretty much an hour or so later on, and here we are at the daytime or the early morning. Time to wrap up the view, give you my thoughts. It's a lovely airport. I've not seen Impulse simulations out before. They've suddenly released 3 or 4 sceneries on Simmarket, which might also be worth looking at. This one certainly grabbed my attention. It's just really nice. It is, you know, there's everything about it. The one big showstopper for me is the lack of people. They've modelled it so well, and it looks so real. It just there's a feeling about it. That realistically, the only thing that really would just make it perfect is some people. They really need to add some people in the appropriate places. But other than that, I've got no real complaint. It's a lovely airport, and I'm really proud to have managed to get hold of it. And the price isn't bad too. When I looked at it in Australian dollars, $21, $22, I thought it was expensive. But when I did the conversions, it's actually not too bad. We're talking under £11, just over $14 US, getting close to €13. I mean, it's not expensive. And those prices include tax, by the way. And given the amount of work and detail there is on this little, to some extent unbeknownst airport, certainly to the likes of us Europeans, it's beautiful. This is gold mining country, and the airport just fits so really well into the terrain. It just looks good. It's crying out to be flown into. And once I learn how to fly this jet, yeah, we're going to have to do Sydney to Bendigo Airport. It's lovely. Thoroughly recommended. So really impressed with it, to be honest. So there you are. It's Bendigo Airport in Victoria, the state of Victoria in southwest Australia. Yankee Bravo Delta Golf. It's a Payware from Impulse Simulations. It's version 1.0.2 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. It's not available for 2024 yet. No details on whether it will be. Hopefully it will. Download comes in at 1.46 gig and it installs at 2.59 gig, just under 3 gig. It's available from Simpulse's own website, Simpulse Simulation's own website, or Simmarket or Flightsim.To. You've got 3 locations you can get it from. The cheapest price I found was at the Impulse's own website. However, their download speed's pretty slow, but if you're prepared to be a bit patient, then you'll get a decent price. And that price for Impulse Simulations is $21.95 Australian, which equates to €12.49, or $14.10 US, or £10.57 UK. The Euro, the US and the UK prices are estimates taken from conversions from the Australian dollar, and they include tax and VAT at 20%, which of course could be different depending on where you live. It's full of detail, loads of textures. There are things off airport for you to explore that I haven't covered in the video, and yeah, you should certainly look at that. Also today, as I said, we've had our featured livery, It's the Flightsim Studios E995 E-Jet, painted in the Qantaslink livery by a painter called JordxnE. That you can find on Flightsim.To, and I'll put the link in the description if you're interested in getting hold of it. So there you are, folks. That wraps the review up. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your time. I've got 2 other videos I'm hoping to produce this week. One where we'll be looking at the NASA in the Bahamas, the new version 2 that's come out. We'll be looking at that. I'm also going to be doing a gate research jetway test on Riyadh, a scenery review I did some time ago, and the gates all seem a bit weird and wonderful. Somebody remarked on where I should be parking, so we're going to examine the jetways and see how just effective they are in the scenery. And there's one other short video I hope to get out this week as well. I had a discussion with a painter who did the repaint for a British Airways 777-200ER, the PMDG that's just come out, and I commented on the club class, and I've since learned from that painter about what they can achieve and what they're not able to achieve. So I'm going to release a little video to talk a little bit more about repaints and the information I've discovered thanks to my conversation with this painter. So hopefully all this to come out this week at some point, but also I've got to go and enjoy my kid's birthday sometime in the week as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for your time, it's always appreciated, and I will see you in the next review video. Take care, it's Lee saying bye for now.